Okay, so I need somebody's help, and we will pay to have someone who's like so good at gardening to come help us. Because at this point, I mean, I'm reading everything you guys post, I read online, but there's so many possibilities to what goes wrong in gardening. And I think someone just needs to like see this firsthand, and like I will pay because I just want to be successful at this. Right now, I'll show you around my yard. We are, spending so much money every year and time to put in the garden. I want it to produce more food than I know what to do with, and it just barely produces anything. The rest of our yard is just overrun with weeds, things that were already kind of here before we moved in, and we combat them. I have been trying to be organic where I haven't sprayed for weeds, I haven't sprayed for bugs. I think maybe that's a mistake because I feel like all the bugs in the whole neighborhood know to live in our yard, and the spiders can't keep up, and the weeds are out of control no matter what I do. So let me just show you what I've done, show you what I'm struggling with, and like if any of you like want a little side job to come get paid to help me, I would so pay you. Okay, so first of all, here's my front yard. Like, this park strip's out of control. When we moved in, I feel like the weeds had roots like dinosaurs, because no matter what you do, like, they find a way through. Like, they live through everything. As a matter of fact, I think the first year I did spray for them, and it just didn't matter. So like in this park strip, originally someone told me, oh, you just need to put down weed barrier. And so we ripped everything up, did all this work, went to Costco, got weed barrier, and Costco's weed barrier was like this mesh. And no one told me that if you have like dinosaur weeds, then they just grow right up through that mesh. So I put so much time and energy that just to almost immediately have weeds just poking right through it. These type of flowers that kind of open up in the day, I know some people think they're weed-like, these little purple guys. I did get them starts from someone else. I do like those. But I mean, you can see just... And then we have hollyhocks everywhere. I mean, I pulled all those up. I tried to place them strategically in only certain places. And I mean, they just all came back when we get thousands. It's like our whole park strip is hollyhocks, which I love them. Like, they're fine, but at the same time, I have a love-hate because, like, they're in our grass. They try to get in our garden. I would prefer that they just stay to their own places, but that's just not happening. So, yeah, I don't know if you can spot different weeds. This is a flower bush that I planted a couple years ago, but you know, everything gets kind of overrun by other things. These do okay. This is just a couple years old. Okay, so we have this, which I don't mind this, unless it's like gonna kill stuff, you know. I don't know what this is, or if these little berries, they start to turn purple, if they like are medicinal or serve a purpose. If they serve a purpose, I'll keep them. And I don't know if these are different than this, but I mean, this is kind of starting to grow up all over our yard. This tree's hanging by a thread. We had another one like this, and the side turned orange. So everything in our yard's turning orange, and I'm super nervous. It's a virus or a fungal thing. I need to know how to treat it. Definitely things get watered enough. I wonder if we need water filtration. Like, I don't want to just guess. I know the thing about the Facebook comments is people will just, guess and say it could be a million of these things. I'm like, I need someone to help me know. Like, I need to treat it correctly. So here's more of this. I don't know if that's that berry stuff, what that is. Oh, that's lovely. I didn't even notice that weed is growing that big. Guys, I'm in this phase of life where I have, 2 young kids and 1 on the way. And it's hard to stay on top of weeds. It's not that I never weed, but it's really hard to stay on top. So some of this is purposely planted. I love this ground cover. It's purposely planted, but over here needs some help. I feel like everything just doesn't produce as much. Like, our roses do all right, but they don't produce very much. This bush only produces like once a year for like a minute, and it's gorgeous, and then it's back to just kind of dry. So this area, don't judge me or turn me in, but this area, and there's one other area, we have tried to pull the weeds, and we did treat the weeds one year. And okay, the first year, just spraying things diluted the way that the instructions had told me to do did not work. I tried other different, brands and blah, blah, blah. So finally one year I took weed killer, and it was supposed to be diluted, and I did not dilute it. I just poured that sucker all over. Like, that's bound to kill stuff, right? Like, undiluted weed killer that is super concentrated. Nope, this popped back up super easy. This has mesh under it too. I mean, all of this I got beautiful one year. Mesh, wood chips down. Like, within months, everything, all my work just destroyed. I mean, I have this gorgeous purple flower bush that I love, but it is, and I have another mum over here, and I mean, they're getting eaten alive by these weeds I cannot keep up on. Don't judge my weed trees. I do actually love my weed trees. Someone might be able to convince me to cut them down, but most of the stuff is purposefully planted, but then back here, not. That's just random vine growing all back there. The hollyhocks are just everywhere. This area does okay actually, but you can see, I didn't know that with, what is this, the demon weed, bindweed, that it actually grows more if you pull it, and so you almost have to treat it, I guess. I don't know. We're also extremely overrun by ants, and this year they got in our house like crazy. Happens kind of every year, once a year for a while. It's so bad the spiders can't keep up. I don't mind a wild yard. I like a little bit of wildness. I like things to be full. That's why I like the weed trees. I didn't have to plant them. They grew so fast. They make my yard really green. I like yards that are kind of a little overgrown and green, but not ones that the cute, beautiful flowers are being suffocated by weeds. You heading out? Oh, where? Will you just take his pants off while I finish this? So anyways, here's my weed trees. I love them. Anyways. But I need to get this area back under control. The weeds are eating up flowers that I purposely planted over here. Just give me 2 minutes. Make sure he doesn't put it in his mouth. That's a first. Just hold them or watch them for a second then. So, okay, we have grapevines. And, let me show you this grapevine. So one that is established before we ever moved in. It's doing great. We do grape juice every year. But I really wanted table grapes. So I got table grapes, and they are struggling. And it seems like if I water them more, they actually struggle more. I don't even know if you can see in here. Here we go. These are their leaves. And I'm scared it's just going to die altogether. It's been like this every year. It's still alive. And then it's got these purple flowers all over it. I don't know if that's bad, but even before the purple flowers were kind of up all over it. And it was all off to itself. It just has struggled. I don't know if we need water filtration or what is going on, but this peach tree is new this year. It's doing okay. We did one a few years ago, and it actually does okay. Peaches have been the most hardy thing that survives well in our yard. Okay, this was well weeded at one point. We want to just have raspberries crazy in here. We probably won't do corn in here again. That was just an experiment. But look at that bindweed. It's trying to suffocate everything. If it wasn't suffocating everything, I wouldn't mind it. I'm not anti every type of weed, but it crawls up things, and it's just in everything. We really like this to be full of really healthy, happy berries. And we've got berries. These are very young, but we have berries that are quite a few years old, and they're just still doing nothing. We get a few really tasty ones, but that's it. I see people bringing hordes of berries in from their yard, and I'm like, how do we do that? I don't know how to trim properly. I'm pretty sure everything's getting enough water. Okay, I know where my garden is this is how it came. My yard was already this way. And we've thought about moving it. It's just hard. There's not a great spot, but it is under these trees. So I don't know if some of the issues are that it gets shade and then all of a sudden so much sun, if that shocks it. It does get a fair amount of sun despite the trees though. The bugs definitely have been always eat my watermelon starts. I try watermelon every year and it doesn't work out. These are kind of new, but this peach tree done amazing actually, but it did not produce anything this year, which I heard was a temperature thing in the spring. But the apple tree over there is new. That peach tree's new. This is new, and look at this. What is going on? I want this cherry tree to live. We do have kind of clay soil out here in Woods Cross, so someone recommended raising them, but so many of my plants look like this. I just worry that it's a disease. This one, this peach tree was not much, or cherry tree was not much to start with, but I bought this a few years ago and it's still just doing nothing. Same with the apple tree all the way over in the corner by the chicken coop. mean, it hasn't produced even buds or anything, even though I've had it for like 5 years. It was tiny to start with, but, and I mean, here's my tomatoes and peppers. These peppers were planted early. They're healthy, they're strong. They still look healthy and strong, but we've gotten like 2 peppers off of them. We've maybe gotten a total of 10 tomatoes. And they still are just like trickling in, and parts of them are just so, you know, dry and struggling. You can see our raspberries that are kind of established back here. They've been in here for years. They look okay in the spring. Everything looks beautiful till like mid-July, and then everything starts to look horrible. But I mean, you know, what's going on here? We want to get tons of berries, so I don't know. We need help.